Can UK charities learn a thing or two from Islamic charities? Hello, I'm the Grumpy Gammon, and these are some of my motley musings. My social media channels and YouTube feed regularly show adverts for various charities, and somehow I've got onto the mailing list of several of them. Barely a day goes by without a charity soliciting donations from me. Now, all of these charities do some good work, but I don't necessarily support everything they do. If I make a donation, I have no control over how and where my money is spent. The long-established principle is that if you make a charitable donation, it must be used for charitable purposes. As a concept, that was good when charities were run by people who freely gave their time and skills for the benefit of the community. Many charities are now big businesses, a fact recognised by them being called the third sector. The concept of donations being used for charitable purposes has been stretched beyond what I think is a reasonable limit. This is where they can learn a thing or two from Islamic charities. It's my understanding that in the Islamic tradition, a donation to a charity can only be used for that cause. This is similar to the long-established principles of UK charities. Where there is a divergence is that in the UK, all activities of the charity are considered charitable, whereas in the Islamic tradition, donors can specify which project their money is spent on. Not only that, administration and management costs are separate from the charitable work. Some well-known British charities have been involved in controversies in recent years. Here's a few examples. Comic Relief, founded in 1985 in response to the 1983-85 famine in Ethiopia, has faced concerns about the lack of gender equality in the causes it supported, with much funding going to politicised women's charities or charities focusing on women. In February 2019, David Lammy, the UK's current Foreign Secretary, criticised Stacey Dooley for posting on her social media about her trip to Uganda for Comic Relief, saying what the world does not need is any more white saviours, and that she was perpetuating a tired and unhelpful stereotype about Africa. This intervention led to a drop in donations to the charity of several £million. The Royal National Lifeboat Institution has come under fire for spending millions of pounds on projects in foreign countries, including buying burkinis for Muslim women in Africa, while slashing jobs in the UK. There was widespread anger in the veterans community over the Royal British Legion's appointment of a head of diversity and inclusion, earning approximately £65,000 a year, while many ex-servicemen and women struggle for support. My point is this. Many of these problems could be avoided if the charities followed the lead of Islamic charities and separated their administration and management costs from their charitable projects, and listed their projects so people could choose which to support. Now, an obvious question is, how would the charities fund their administration and management? In the Islamic tradition, that is done by asking for donations specifically for that purpose. A few years ago, I did some work on the annual report of a UK-based Islamic charity. The report showed that not only did people make financial donations to one or more specific projects, but that many also made a donation towards the running costs of the charity. They chose where their money would be spent. So why can't other charities do the same? Let me know what you think in the comments below.